honey badger don't care. Honey badger don't give a shit. It just takes what it wants.
This will be my most controversial video to date, as I am about to question the legitimacy of the infamous reputation of the ball-biting honey badger, which is probably the most blasphemous thing I could ever do on this channel. Now, before I go absolute yap mode, I will be giving you a little refresher over how much of a menace these honey badgers actually are. So there are basically two things they are known for. The first being their ungodly strong willpower to survive, or at least fight till the very absolute end. Apparently, when honey badgers consider the whole fight or flight decision when finding themselves in tough situations, they always forget the fact that flight is also a completely valid option, which is how we end up with all these videos of honey badgers blasting their way through entire packs of hyenas and even slapping around lion prides like they are goddamn kittens. The second thing that has made them so famous amongst animal enthusiasts is the fact that they can do these things and actually walk out alive. You see, honey badgers are literally built to take massive amounts of damage and still be all handy-dandy afterward, simply built different. Their reputation is so infamous and powerful to the point of other animals literally using evolution points to make their cubs look more like honey badgers. Take cheetah cubs, for example. The cubs that look more like honey badgers apparently have a higher chance of surviving their first few months compared to others, since most predators really don't want the smoke. As a result, cheetah cubs look strikingly similar to honey badgers during their first few months of life. So with a reputation so strong it has quite literally affected how other animals have evolved, it is no wonder they have built up such a ride-or-die fan base. But they are not in... They actually get bodied left and right by pretty much everything with a pulse. This includes, but is not limited to, lions, hyenas, crocodiles, leopards, snakes, even goddamn soy boy grass eaters mess them up on a daily. Now, this does not mean that they are these weak, defenseless little things. It's actually quite the opposite. You see, unlike most smaller animals, honey badgers literally don't give a shit. They just simply do not accept any form of disrespect at all. This mindset is ironically what saves them and dooms them at the same time. The fact that they never back down causes them to end up in life-cancelling situations far more often than necessary, which obviously will increase the risk of fatal encounters. But at the same time, it's this exact mindset that also saves them. Lions, for example, are used to having complete control and instilling a lot of fear in smaller creatures. But when they meet a cracked-up, ball-biting honey badger, they get all confused and don't really know how to handle it. So even though they could probably unsubscribe it from life fairly quickly, they don't. The honey badger's menacing aura is basically what's saving them most of the time, as it is just too much of a hassle for the lions to actually risk getting hurt for such a small meal. But just like when you mess around a little too much at your local bar, you will eventually find out, which is also true for honey badgers. Another really important factor when it comes to these collabs between honey badgers and predators is the fact that honey badgers are literally built to tank damage. Through millions of years, they have been molded into these hardened battle machines. They basically dropped most of their offensive abilities for a godlike defense. You have probably heard about their thick skin that almost makes them immune to bites and scratches, but this is actually not really the truth. You see, while honey badgers do indeed have incredibly thick skin for their size, it's not really thick enough to hold back the bite of a lion or hyena. Just remember that these are creatures able to break the skin of elephants, and even your mother, I mean hippos. So if not the thickness, then what is it? Well, the thing that makes their skin so incredibly durable is the fact that they have a very unique elastic property to it. And it's this elasticity that makes their skin so difficult to penetrate, as the teeth and claws of, for example, lions simply just sink in instead of actually puncturing it. Kind of like if you stick your finger into Play-Doh, it will just mold around your finger instead of going through. This elastic and loose skin also gives them a secondary ability, which is to squirm freely within their body. This is super overpowered when grappling, as they are impossible to keep still, and you can't really control their bites. And we can of course not forget about their ball-biting shenanigans. If predators are aware of this or not, I'm not sure. But it sure does increase their fear factor tenfold, knowing that your opponents could go straight for the family jewels at any given moment. After hearing all of this, you might be wondering if they have a screw loose or something, and that is completely understandable, considering that being fearless is usually not linked with smarts. But honey badgers, I shit you not, might just be one of the smartest goddamn animals on the entire planet. I'm not really going to go that deep into this, as I have already made a whole ass video about it, which I will of course link in the description below. But the fact that they are so intelligent means that they probably have a pretty good understanding of the dangers they put themselves in. And in my opinion, this really makes their whole "I don't give a shit" attitude a lot more impressive. So even though honey badgers do indeed get bodied on a daily, it is largely because of them so frequently getting themselves into such situations. And they aren't dumb, so it is almost like they seek it out on their own. Although that's probably far from the truth, but kind of funny to think about. Congratulations, you've made it past the halfway mark, and if you've enjoyed the video so far, then please do consider absolutely annihilating that like button. Okay, let's get back to the video. The honey badger is actually not alone in being such a powerful underdog. We do, for example, have the mongoose. The mongoose might be known as a skilled snake hunter, but it is also known to scare away flipping lions. These little guys have the balls to jump scare and chase away massive ass cats more than 90 times bigger than themselves. They are so fierce that even the lions don't know how to act, even though they could probably send them straight to the shadow realm with a single nonchalant paw swipe. This just shows that you can make up for a smaller size by acting like a complete crackhead. Now, if you did not know, there are actually more than 30 different species of mongooses. Meerkats, for example, are also a type of mongoose, and not all are exceptional snake hunters either. The Indian grey mongoose is the one that is most known for actually taking down snakes efficiently. They have incredibly quick reflexes and really flipping agile bodies, which makes them able to dodge most snake attacks. But if they were to get bit, that's not really a problem either. Their acetylcholine receptors have a very unique structure, which makes them less susceptible to the neurotoxic effects of the snake venom. So they are not really immune, just extremely tolerant. Another creature known to overcome massive size differences is the American badger. American badgers will literally go on the offensive against big-ass bears more than 34 times their own size. And it's not like they are simply just trying to defend themselves. They actively chase these bears away from their own goddamn food. They basically take the lunch money away from the biggest dude on the playground. And like with a lot of these smaller creatures, they basically just act like they are on top of the food chain in any and all situations. This overwhelmingly convincing attitude is often enough to fool these larger predators. But it is kinda understandable, as it would be a completely unnecessary risk for the bear, especially when the reward is so small. And even the smallest of injuries could get infected and potentially unsubscribe it from life in the long run. Wolverines are also infamous for relying on this tactic when dealing with predators like bears or wolves. But the American badger definitely takes the cake and eats it too when it comes to crackhead energy. They are just on another wavelength when it comes to their intimidation factor. Heck, one single American badger had enough aura to scare off not one, but two wolverines at the same time. So when it all comes down to it, it's the mindset of these creatures that really makes them able to do these things without instantly getting pummeled to the ground like a rag doll. Anyways, that's the end of the video. If you enjoyed it, then maybe watch some of my other videos on screen, and I will see you in the next one.